And welcome to ABC 7's Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon. Well, we are talking about the popularity of weight loss drugs. They are huge right now. Medicines like Wegovy and Zepbound are shaping the weight loss industry, but deciding which medication is right for you can be a challenge for many. So joining us today, we have Dr. Scott Howell, the medical director at Premier Weight Loss in Bradenton. We thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, this industry is huge. The past 3 to 5 years, I'd say, maybe longer. It's something everyone's talking about. I think we all know someone who is on it, leading to amazing results. Talk about that.
Well, the results absolutely are amazing. And in fact, there's millions and millions of people that are on this medication. And they're doing it because prior to this, they've tried other modalities. They've gone to the gym. They've tried Weight Watchers. They've tried different things, and they've failed. They just never really worked. So this is a drug that actually is working. And it's not a foreign drug. It's a drug that mimics the hormone that's naturally produced in your body. It would be similar to taking insulin, which is a matched hormone that you take as well, or thyroid medication. So it actually mimics a certain hormone called glucagon, and the results have been amazing. And what it does, and we found out that not only do you lose weight, but there's tremendous other health benefits. And the biggest thing is that it decreases the motility from a food substance from the stomach to the gut. Normally, if you eat a hamburger, it's from your stomach into your gut in 4 minutes. This slows it down to 70 minutes. So it hangs around for 70 minutes, and you have that feeling of fullness, you have the feeling of satiety that you don't want to eat anymore. So it actually takes the hunger away. It's remarkable, the effects. And plus the health benefits are amazing.
Yeah, because people, you have found, and other medical experts have found, that it's not just weight that's being lost, overall health improvement for many people.
Oh my gosh, it's just, I've worked in the hospital for 40 years, and the people who were obese had more trouble getting off first base and getting in recovery and getting rehab than people who had less weight problems. And it's osteoporosis. I mean, it helps that. It helps the heart. It helps the kidneys. And there was actually a study done about kidney disease, and they had to stop it halfway through because of the effects. And you see a 20% reduction of carotid artery disease. You see a 20% reduction of myocardial infarctions or heart attacks. I mean, the vascular system is amazing. Dementia is even helping now. Studies have just come out how it's actually curbs people getting dementia. Okay. And it's just tremendous.
A lot of health benefits.
Yeah.
Is this specifically for people that are severely obese, or if you want to lose 20 pounds, are you a candidate?
No, I think even 20 pounds, because that could be the hardest amount to lose, is that last 10 to 20 pounds. So you have to have certain criteria in order to be able to go on the program. You have their BMI, which is your basic metabolic index. It's a height-weight ratio, so it has to be a certain level, but most people qualify for that, or if they had pre-existing, like if they had hypertension, or if they had kidney disease, or if they have depression, then that helps qualify you. And people are finding that works even for depression. Amazing what it's doing for depression. And people are overweight, and the stigma and the difficulties they have now, they're losing a lot of weight.
Okay.
So it's helping that as well too.
And forgive me for asking it this way, but is this a rich person drug, or can anyone come up with the money to do this? It varies, I imagine, practice to practice. But do you have to have health insurance to get it, or can you pay for it on your own?
Well, that's actually a very good question. Health insurance was paying for it, but now there's so many people getting on it that they're pulling away. They're not paying for it. Mm-hmm. It's $1,000, $1,200 a month. And
that's expensive.
Yeah, that's very expensive. And we use a compounded form of the weight loss drug, Summer. And what that simply means is that we put a little substance, or the pharmacy puts a substance in there like B12 that alters it a little bit from the proprietary drug, but it's much cheaper and much more affordable. And if you think about the health benefits, it's tremendous. So it's much better, much more affordable. In fact, we're seeing 250, 300 people a week coming in, and even in the slow time during the summer. I mean, people that can afford it, and they notice it, and they're seeing the results.
And you're seeing drastic weight loss.
Seeing drastic weight loss, but plus, I mean, the depression is better, the osteoporosis is better, the coronary artery disease and hypertension. What I'm having to do now is people who have on drugs that curb blood pressure, I'm having to take them off some of the drugs. And I'm also, when they come in, I caution them about taking antidepressants, because there's a lot of people who take antidepressants and they give weight gain.
Okay.
So we have to curb that. We address that.
So that's where you have to be very honest with
Yeah,
whoever your
very
medical
honest.
professional about everything you're taking. And I imagine not everyone's a candidate. So we were talking before about the different drugs work for different people. So
Right.
it's not a one size fit all.
Right. Well, and we do a little bit of a screening. There are some things that if they have severe liver disease or pancreatic problems that we don't. But the two different drugs, the semaglutide hits, there were two studies that came out, said it hit one receptor and you got a 28% weight loss over a year. And then the tirzepatide, it hits two receptors, so it has a little bit more punch to it, and you're up in the 32, 33% per year. But a lot of people do very well with the lower level. So it just depends upon when they come in, just where they want to go and how they want to do it.
Okay, so you're talking about the two, and I know one's a little bit more expensive than the other, but do you find that some people say, hey, this one doesn't work for me, let's try the other?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the whole thing in medicine. I mean, you can give somebody a blood pressure medication and one may work and one may not. That's why the computers don't rule the world in medicine. So we're able to look and try to adjust things on a per patient basis, and it works very well.
And there's talk out there. Some people say this is not healthy for you to take. What's your response to that when someone says that's not good to inject your body with this?
Oh, I think that's completely nuts, because I think it's not healthy to be obese. I mean, really, not healthy to be obese. And again, I go back to what I mentioned a moment ago about being a hospitalist for the last 20 years. And the people who were obese, I mean, that they had more health problems. And there was even a situation called metabolic syndrome, where you have high blood pressure, kidney disease, and hypertension and obesity, and they're far more prone to have medical problems. And compression fractures in their back from obesity, and then the depression, they get depressed, and then you eat more. And so it's a vicious cycle. So this helps all around. So people who say that this is not healthy, I totally disagree. I've monitored now 45,000 patient visits. Nobody's ended up in the hospital. Nobody's had abdominal problems. Nobody's died on me, thank God. So we monitor it very closely, and they've had great results. They feel better. It's a lifestyle change. So at the end of the day, your lifestyle change, you start to eat less and you're satisfied. I eat once a day. I have intermittent fasting, eat once a day, and I love it. I feel better, exercise better, think better than I did before.
Can I ask you, have you used?
Yeah, you could ask me that.
Okay,
Seriously, yes,
so
I have.
You're a success story then.
And yeah, I've lost 45 pounds. And when I was in the hospital, what I noticed was that we have a physician's lounge, and they give us the best food: roast beef, shrimp, fish, all this stuff. And I'd go in and have lunch with my partners, and 2 hours later I'd want to lay down in the hallway and go to sleep. And I said, this isn't working for me. I got work to do. I mean,
Right.
tired and yawning and tired. So now I just totally avoided that, and I felt much better. I could get through the day better, I could sleep better, and I exercise a lot better, and I actually think better. And plus, you know, the depression that you have when you're trying to lose weight and you can't, it's stressing on
Yeah,
people. It
it's
really
very.
is.
What is the obesity rate right now in our country? I think I read the other day that it was over 45%.
It's amazing. It's 45%
Okay.
obesity in the adult population, but in the kids, it's coming up around 22%, and that's growing every day. Think about this. Think about this happened to me. I came home one day from working in the hospital 12 hours, and I went right to the refrigerator, opened it to get something to eat. And I thought, well, I'm not even hungry. Well, why am I doing this? Well, then I started thinking about it. Well, what did we do when we were a little kid? You know, little Johnny cries. Well, little Johnny gets something to eat. Johnny gets a breast in his mouth. Johnny gets something to eat. So every time Johnny cries, Johnny would get something to eat. And so we kind of take that on to our adulthood. So that's kind of a comfort food. And I just thought this was what happened to me. It was a comfort food. I didn't really need it.
It's a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit that we've got, and then like eating 3 times a day. I'm not so sure that we really need to do that. I'm not so sure we need to eat this breakfast as the best meal of every day. It doesn't work for me. If I eat a breakfast, I'm done.
But
I'm tired. I want to go lay down or do something.
Right. But like you said, everyone's different. So
I know everybody's different.
But bringing up the children now, this is not you don't recommend. The industry doesn't recommend Wegovy and these drugs for children, though, right?
Actually,
or are they?
The pendulum is switching.
Really?
There's a couple of major centers. I think Duke's doing one, and I think Yale's doing it. They have major centers where they're starting to introduce it much earlier in the 8 to 10, 12 range, because that kids are eating candy all the time, and it's carbohydrates. And when you eat carbohydrates, the carbohydrates, the sugar in the system goes up, and then it comes down, and as soon as it comes down, you're hungry again, and little Johnny's hungry again. Then Johnny wants to eat another hamburger. Johnny wants another popsicle, and it just continues and continues. So now they're starting to look at doing this to kids. Big centers are starting to do this.
What do you say to people at home right now if they are interested in learning more about it? What should someone do if they have no idea about this? Do you recommend they call their primary doctor, or do you buy it online? What's your opinion about that?
Well, my opinion would be research it. With this amazing thing called ChatGPT that everybody knows, you can get a world of information and look at the success, look at the benefits of it. I mean, the benefits are tremendous, and it really does. It works, and talk to other people, but they're not. You don't have millions and millions of people on this drug because it doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, it actually works, and now you've seen all these other people that are shifting to this. You can buy it online, but I like the personal approach. They come in, we see them, we say, have you had any abdominal issues? So if they have any gastroparesis, we head it right off. If they have any issues, if they're not quite doing it, then I modify the treatment a little bit, and I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times.
Well, you take into account a person's weight, their health,
Right.
I imagine their age,
Right.
their physical activity, so that's where you're saying everybody's different.
And then I look at their lab. Their thyroid may be off. So if their thyroid is off, we adjust that. We take care of that. Or if they're on, like I said, antidepressants. There's about 6 or 7 antidepressants that actually cause weight gain, that their doctor puts them on and nobody looks at it, and boom, they're gaining weight or they can't get it off. So those things are things I address. So we look at the patient as a whole, not just weight.
Okay, and is this something long-term that people have to stay on forever? Or are you able to wean yourself off, and do you change your lifestyle, I imagine, your eating habits?
Well, that's actually an excellent point, and I'm asked that all the time. How do you get off? Or they say, well, once you get off, you gain it all back. Well, not necessarily, because your lifestyle changed because you're used to eating less. You're used to eating a lot less, and then you get to the point where you don't like the carbohydrates. And when you eat carbohydrates, you don't feel as well. And then you cut your portions down, and like I mentioned, the transit time. So it's a lifestyle change, and we introduce that with exercise. And when you lose fat, you also lose muscle mass, so you have to do some resistive training, and that preserves the muscle mass. So you do that in conjunction with it. I mean, no drug's going to do it by itself. You have to have some involvement yourself. But it really works. I mean, it works. And once you get involved with this and lifestyle change, start eating less, you're going to feel better, and you can go on from there, or you could take a smaller dose. And if you need to come back on, take a smaller dose. So there's other modalities to do it. But I myself, I've not taken maybe several months, and I've maintained my weight right where it is.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just because I just don't feel like eating. I don't want to eat that big dump truck dinner like my son used to say.
And does your stomach actually shrink like you always say, oh, my stomach shrunk? Does that really happen?
It doesn't happen, but the feeling of reward of eating a big meal is gone. That's how we used to judge a restaurant.
Yeah, you'd
when
have
people
to clean
say,
the plate.
oh yeah, go to this restaurant because they give you huge portions. Now, is that really a good restaurant? No, it really isn't. So we don't really advocate that at all. So smaller portions, and you can get by and feel satisfied with a smaller portion. So that's that's another lifestyle change.
Do you really feel like this is changing our future? It seems like, we've seen a lot of celebrities slim down. I don't know if they're doing anything else, but it's nice to see that the average person has an opportunity now to lose this weight. And with the numbers, 45% obesity in our country, you think we'll see a decline?
I really do. I really do believe that. I mean, I've seen it with these 45,000 visits that I've seen over the last 3 or 4 years. And they really do. They've seen it and they feel better, and they come in all the time, and they may come in for a little maintenance therapy and whatever. Like I said, everybody's different. You have to judge that.
Yeah.
But they come in for maintenance therapy, and they do very well.
And circling back, because you did touch on this a lot, so you have a patient, and you're noticing, though, they might get off their diabetes medicine or blood pressure medicine, like you said. It leads to an overall healthier lifestyle when you lose the weight.
And then the antidepressants, and I'm able to turn that, or the thyroid or something like that. But type 2 diabetes is because of weight gain. So you actually have a resistance to insulin and type 2 diabetes, and then all the problems with that, vascular, heart, and dementia, strokes. There's a 20% reduction of strokes, 20% reduction of heart attacks,
when you
and
lose the weight.
all mortality, cardiovascular, 20% reduction. It's a WD-40 of medicine.
Okay. And what can someone expect when they take this? And I guess that depends too on your overall weight and your age and everything. But what is an average of weight loss per week that someone would expect to see?
I like to shoot for 2 pounds a week.
So that's healthy.
If I could shoot for 2 pounds, usually they get more, but sometimes they don't. And they'll come in and say, I want to lose a lot more. I want to lose it in the next 2 weeks because I got this thing to go do. But 2 pounds a week, if I can get 2 pounds a week, that's 8 pounds a month. That's almost 100 pounds a year.
Okay.
That's pretty good. So you're not doing it really quickly. You're doing it slowly, 2 pounds a week. But that's pretty noticeable. Then all of a sudden they say, well, my clothes are looser. My clothes feel better. And overall, it's really good.
We've heard that for years too. Is 2 pounds a week pretty healthy for any diet to lose?
Sure.
And they say that's the way that you're sure to keep it off in the future.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. But then there's little problems that happen. I mean, sometimes below the neck you look better, you lose weight, but above the neck you can start getting a little wrinkled and something. But so we take care of that too if they have that problem.
We have a remedy for everything now.
Don't we?
It's a good thing and bad thing, I guess. So good to be healthy, though. I love seeing people get healthier, and as you said, it's life-changing. It's good to see people happy. I didn't think about the depression, but it is definitely life-changing to see.
It is. Depression's just terrible. And when you're depressed, you can't do anything. You just eat more, and you go back to the comfort food. And I never realized what a terrible factor that was, the comfort food was, until I started really talking to a lot of people who are really depressed. That's where they go. They go and they comfort food.
Okay. And the side effects with taking that, is it normal to have some side effects when you're taking these, the Wegovy and the other?
The biggest one summer is abdominal. It is people that don't recognize, like I mentioned before, 4 minutes you move from Mr. Hamburger out of the stomach into the intestines. Now it's 70 minutes. So if you go and eat a normal sized dinner like you did, you're going to have problems because you just feel backed up. And it also can potentially cause a little bit of constipation if you don't drink enough water. So you got a problem with constipation, you got a problem with not moving here, so you get a lot of abdominal pain. We tell the patients that beforehand. We say you cut down on your food, try to eat less, try to not eat so many greasy foods until you get used to it for 3 or 4 days, and that helps them tremendously.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the main complication is abdominal.
Okay. So you work through that, and that's the benefit of talking to a doctor, though, and not doing it all online by yourself.
Yeah, because that's where all the problems are. All the Morgan & Morgan's looking at the people who go online and the abdominal pain. They don't have anybody to call.
Okay, so there are some lawsuits then right now from
there's
people
a
that
class
have not
action
handled
lawsuits about abdominal pain, and fortunately we haven't had a one.
So you think a lot of that is because they weren't under proper supervision?
Absolutely. They don't have anybody to call, and they have this thing going on, and nobody's asking them day to day, week to week, are you having abdominal problems? Are you having it? I make my nurses all ask the question and record it in the chart. Are you having any abdominal problems? If you do, let us know. Call us right away, and we're on it. And that's why we've got such a good record with that.
What would you say to anyone right now who isn't under medical care if they were having abdominal pain like that? Would you tell them to stop using it and go see their doctor?
Absolutely, because gastroparesis, or if you have a problem with bowel obstruction, that could be a big serious problem. So stop it, see their doctor, and then allow him to evaluate it, and then go back on.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, quite an education today. Well, we appreciate it. Would you like to, as we wrap up, add anything else before we go?
I think this is life-saving. I think that this is the miracle drug, like I said, it's the WD-40, not the health benefits. Now they say obstructive sleep apnea. They say, the osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, the cardiac, the carotid, the kidney disease, diabetes. It just has so many tremendous benefits. Plus, losing the weight and feeling it, and then depression. We're always depressed when we're overweight, and that's helped tremendously. A lot of people come in.
Okay, silly question in a way because of what we're saying with the
You go right
abdominal,
ahead.
but this will probably be not something that will never be over the counter, I imagine, because of the supervision you need from a medical
That's
expert.
true. Yeah, I don't think it ever will be over the counter.
Okay, so always need to seek guidance from a medical health
That's
professional.
correct.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Summer. I appreciate it.
Okay, and we hope you'll come back and see us soon, and some great information on these weight loss drugs, which, like you said, they're going down in history, a miracle drug for sure.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Have a great afternoon, everyone.